Welcome to Little Talks, your weekly dose of marketing news, trends, and insights from Littlefield Agency. Grab your coffee, turn up the volume, and let's get into it.
Welcome back to another edition of Little Talks with Littlefield Agency. I'm Sam Littlefield. With me is my co-host,
Roop.
And we have a very, very special guest. I'd like to welcome Bauer Fichter from Media Thesis. Bauer, welcome.
Thanks so much, Sam. Appreciate it.
Oh my gosh, of course, buddy. We are so happy to have you.
Right?
Bauer caught a flight yesterday afternoon from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Here we are in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And buddy, we're so happy to have you here. This is Bauer's first podcast experience.
Yes, I am a newbie to the podcast world.
Dude, and you're already a natural. You're going to be great. He is the most tan out of the three of us if you're watching the video segment. Poor Roop. You're a little rosy today, buddy.
I understand there's going to be some color correction done.
Oh, okay. Well, that must be nice. So the reason that Bauer's, you're like, oh, wow, another agency's on the podcast with you?
Oh, yeah.
I guess we're technically competitors, but not really. Some of our listeners may know this. Magnet Global it's the best investment that we spend every year. Magnet stands for Marketing and
Global something.
Network.
Yeah.
Marketing and Advertising Global Network. There's an and in there. That's what it is. I should know that. I'm chairman.
Yeah, we've talked about this a million times.
So the reason that Bauer is here with the principal of Media Thesis, Chris Sullivan, is in the chair right to our left. They flew in. We literally are off of a 7-hour brainstorm, which I think is just really neat. So quick fly in, appetizers last night, full day of programming today, and dinner tonight. And you guys fly out first thing tomorrow morning.
Yeah, quick trip, but it's been splendid hanging out with you, Sam.
How do you like Tulsa?
I love Tulsa.
Yes, it's a hidden gem, right?
Not to say I was surprised. I just didn't have much expectations coming into it, but yeah, it was a good city. It's
good.
Nice.
I love it, man. We did a tour to Tulsa yesterday. So the whole point of Magnet, as I mentioned, I'm chairman. Chris and I get to see each other a couple times a year, and Bauer and I met each other in Miami earlier this year at the media retreat, and it is a knowledge sharing. How do you be a better leader? How do you run a better agency? And how can you collaborate with other great agencies? And that's exactly what we did today. So before we dive in, we're going to give you a glimpse of just what we've been up to the last 7 hours. Bauer, I would love for you to tell our audience, tell them about Media Thesis, tell them about your background. Give us a day in the life of Bauer Fichter.
All right, you got it. So at Media Thesis, we're a small agency out of the Philadelphia, New Jersey, and New York region.
Love it.
So up in the Northeast. We're a small media agency, so we specifically buy media for other full-service agencies in the area. We work with 8 or 9 different agencies right now to help maximize what they can do for their clients through media, specifically in performance marketing. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's an exciting world to be in. With
your title is Director of Performance Marketing.
Yes, that is true. I'm the Director of Performance Marketing. So I work with a small team to help our clients drive new business for their clients.
Nice,
so, yeah,
dude.
Helping agencies grow their client base and win more business.
So you're working with agencies, occasionally working with that end client.
Yep.
Give us a glimpse of some of your clients that you're working with.
Yeah, so the majority of my portfolio is in the higher ed space and the financial industry.
Nice.
Yeah. So I work with a lot of small community banks and universities and colleges within our area to help, just drive applications in the higher ed space and also grow their banking.
And Bauer, so you work in the Northeast part of the United States, but
Correct.
You guys are also expanding to work with other national, whether they might be regional brands, but you're working across the nation.
Yeah, actually, so we were rooted in New Jersey. So we were rooted off of another agency out of Princeton, New Jersey. So that's where I'm from, and that's where we're local to. But we do work with a few agencies north of us, up in the Vermont and Massachusetts area.
Nice.
We work with another agency in Mississippi and another in the Seattle greater area. So yeah, we get around.
Dude, that's awesome. That is so cool.
Nationally.
Tell everyone how old you are.
I am 25 years old.
He is 25 years young, baby.
Yeah,
I almost fell out of my chair when he said that earlier. He and Philip were talking, and it came up. I was like, what?
Both Philip and Bauer. Claude, are you 25?
Yeah.
Good mother of God.
When I take the mustache off, I look like I'm 19, and Chris hates it. So I try to keep. I look distinguished.
So I was
with
gonna
the mustache.
say, I like the mustache, dude.
Yeah.
Because last time I saw you, didn't have it.
Yeah, I shaved it off. Actually, we were down in Florida, and I wanted to make a good impression. And I was like, I got to Miami with a mustache, and I was in the room, and I went to meet all you guys, and I just buzzed it right off. Yeah.
Dude, so you were clean shaven.
I was clean shaven.
I like the mustache. I think it adds good personality. And here's the thing.
Thanks.
I told Chris this. Chris and I, we've become very, very good friends over the years. We had breakfast this morning just to catch up one-on-one. You are very impressive and carry yourself very well for 25 years old, my friend. Your media knowledge is incredible. Roop, you got to sit in the room with us today.
Yes.
It's very admirable.
It was like having two Chris Kizers.
It really was.
Thanks.
And, it was fun watching you and Chris Kizer just geek out today.
Yeah, we definitely we're kind of in the same vein within the industry. We both really love operations and processes, and we also work in the same space. So yeah, I feel like we could get into rabbit holes. Him and I.
Yeah, 100%. And
He should be on the podcast, but once again, we can't.
Chris.
We can't get him to be on.
Well, here's the
here.
freaking thing. Chris isn't listening either.
No.
So the carrier pigeon, that guy. He will not come onto the
Get
podcast.
Chris in here.
Yeah,
You know what? He might listen to you though.
Yeah. All right. Next time I'm down here, we'll play a round of golf, and then me and Chris will podcast.
That's right. Bear's
it
a
is.
golfer. He's my kind of guy, man. So here's the cool thing. Even during breaks today, Bauer and Chris Kizer were still in the room just chatting. The amount of questions and answers, just the whole rapport was very cool to witness. And so we want to walk you through, just as our viewers, for this week's, main topic, Claude. Here we go. We're talking through, we spent the morning and, again, the collaborative nature of Magnet. So Media Thesis, they sent over agenda items that were pertinent to them. We sent over our agenda items and collaborated accordingly. We spent the first 3.5 hours very focused, media tools, pitching media. How are we better? I learned, I think a fire was lit under me this morning. I'm like, man, if I went up in a pitch against you guys, you would absolutely win. It is inspiring to see what you guys are doing, using some great media tools.
But Sam, we know their secrets now, so maybe not.
We're coming for you, boys. But
Yeah,
it was just.
I wouldn't entirely say that. You guys crush it with what you do.
We appreciate
Thank
that. It was enlightening for me. And here's the cool thing. Chris Sullivan literally just walks. Our team walks in. We got him and Bauer here. Walks in. Boom, just goes. Has a case study loaded up. We're going to walk you through how we're pitching ourselves, our presenting. Again, right? Like you would never do that with your competition. But here we are, like we are all supporting each other. And so I'm sitting there, mouth open. They're talking about how they're presenting themselves, how they're working with clients, how they're pitching clients. You guys you're in a whole different space than we are, which is just enlightening to me. But we overlap in the financial space. I think that's very cool, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And so walking through case studies, pitch deck, we had a huge conversation on a lot of the media tools we're using. The trade desk, activating trade desk, which is a huge benefit to our clients. Bauer would love to hear just your thoughts on this morning and just in the sense of you are working behind the scenes every day for agencies and for your clients. And just overall thoughts from our media session.
I thought it was really great. I mean, away from all of the strategy that we kind of went through and really dug into, just being in your office space alone just was inspiring. I love being in, like you were saying, Sam, just being in different people's spaces. It was inspiring to be here and kind of see your whole team in operation. It was cool. But yeah, the discussion that we really dug into, I thought it was eye-opening on my end as well. You guys have things, you're a well-oiled machine in the media space and the analytics space. So kind of talking to Chris and talking to you about how you guys, and Roop, you guys really nailed on a lot of the operations that you guys do and how you're implementing AI into your process. Blew my mind for sure. I'm ready to kick up our game when we get back to Jersey.
Well, and I think something that's interesting, and Roop, I'd love to hear you alluded to this earlier, and we're not going to get down into the minutia because it would bore you all. But process, right? And Chris Sullivan said it really well earlier. He's like, man, there's a lot of agencies that just aren't up to speed where Littlefield Agency is, where Media Thesis is. And sure, we all smart people, absolutely. But it does come down to the nitty gritty and the processes that you have in place.
I'd say discipline process on top of everything else, because you can have a process, but everyone has to kind of follow it or it falls apart.
Yeah.
I'm going to speak for Chris Kizer,
please,
since he never
shows up.
But I think that guy really has a process mind. He has a data mind, and if you're dealing with data, you have to have that kind of thought, or you're lost. It's just gone. So I think our agency is really lucky to have people like this that can think that way and do that.
And I think what was enlightening for me is both agencies opened up the kimono this morning. How's that for an analogy?
That's a
man.
David Littlefield thing.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, geez.
Shout out to David.
That's right, man. It was, we're literally screen sharing. They're showing us information. We're showing them information. We went through our project management tool. Again, it would be a bore for some, but it's just like, it's very interesting seeing your dashboard, seeing our dashboards. Yeah. It's just a huge, an amazing learning opportunity. My takeaways today are tenfold.
Yeah, Chris and I before we came in here, I was talking to Chris Kizer, who would not, again, come in here, in the diner. And we were talking about that exact thing, how it's interesting to see how other people, it's not like you're just going to copy what they're doing, but like, it kind of helps you think about things you hadn't considered before.
100%.
Right? And some things are like, wow, that's never going to come up for us, but like the way you approached it is interesting, and I'm going to put that in my pocket for if it comes up later. It's cool to be able to sit down with another agency and talk through things, and like you said, not be defensive about it or scared that you know more, that we know. It's just, it was very cool vibe.
I literally called my wife during a break today, and I was like, today I was the dumbest guy in the room, and it was great. It was great. I was like, Sam, you got to, sorry, Brando. I got to get together. I have things to do. We're almost halfway through the year now. And I was like, but it to me, it is just the beauty of this network. It's the beauty of our agency and the beauty of their agency. And so we had this great media conversation. And Roop, I'd love to hear from because one common theme that came up, media is as important now than it has ever been in the sense of data and media and technology tools. And even from your side, right, Mr. AI and content and CRM and social and just kidding. Keep going. I told you I had all these fun little different titles.
Many hats.
We mentioned there's only 24 of us
There's
here,
only 24, right? But in your sitting where you were today, Roop, is it enlightening for you? Do you have nuggets that you take away from that conversation, even though you're not on the media team?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, a lot of the tool I don't know do I say it out loud? Can I talk?
Sure.
Okay, Resonate, right? So a lot of that tool that we were talking about and the concept of personas and how those personas come out, Chris deals in personas in a different way than I do for content. But we're kind of looking at, we were talking about this, and like there should be more overlap there. Like there should definitely be, I would love to have access to that for research and to pull into my content personas. Yeah. And the idea that you can show kind of, channel specific graphics and data about those audiences, which I think is how Chris usually thinks about it. But adding the psycho stuff to it is really kind of interesting, kind of cool. It really, I will say this, I think when I was watching Chris's deck go through there, I thought, man, that really does tell the story in what's normally a pretty, sorry, Chris Kizer, dull presentation. When you're looking at analytics and charts and graphs and all that.
Your eyes can cross.
Yeah, it was a good way to humanize it. So watching just that one little part, yes, I did get something out of it. The part where you didn't think I was.
And Chris Sullivan said it earlier. I mean, hey, we're still like what wows our clients and prospective clients. We still live in a very visual world. It's a good reminder.
Yeah.
The creative, the actual graphs themselves, it's very important as we relate to other humans.
Still telling stories.
We're telling stories, baby. That's exactly right. Go ahead, Bauer, please.
Let me jump in really quickly. I think that was a really good point, Roop. Like the intersection between creative and media and account, like just the whole operation and kind of being in this full service environment that you guys have here, it's really cool. I have conversations with Timber. Shout out Timber.
Damn, love Timmy.
Back at Princeton Partners. Great guy. And we were talking about at the Miami Media Retreat how we need to intersect creative and media. We need to be so much more tight, I think, in our operations. So frequently in the past, account comes to us with a problem and they section off media and they section off creative. And for so long, we were in separate ballparks. And other than wanting to work with Tim every day, it's just, I think, so valuable to look at our audience and figure out how we're going to connect with them through creative, but also the channels that we reach them. So
it's such a good point. And over the last year, it's probably been our focal point as an agency. How do we marry those two? We've done a lot better. We still have some good opportunity, but it's a great point, Bauer. Yeah. So we have a great lunch. Thank you, Rib Crib, our client. Delicious barbecue, some good Southern Oklahoma barbecue for you guys.
Sandwich.
Yeah, pulled pork Carolina slaw, man. It was really good. And then we transitioned into AI. We mentioned last week's episode, Philip is fresh off of a plane from San Francisco. He's our AI engineer and went to an AI engineering development conference. And to me, what I loved about that conversation, our internet went down. And literally the whole freaking world stops.
We were in the middle of talking and showing AI things.
We're doing all these screen shares. Well, it stops. So what do? We just converse for another hour and a half on all things on what is the future of this business in AI, talking about AI agents, talking about anything and everything that we can do for our clients to be more efficient, internally, externally, et cetera. And I don't know about you two, but I walked away and it's like, okay, Chris Sullivan said it very well. We have 18 months. And here's the other thing. There's a lot of agencies that are already behind. There's a lot of agencies that are going to be really, really behind or really, really screwed. And the conversations that the 6 or 7 of us that we were having it is so top of mind. The things we're doing internally, the things you all are doing internally. I don't know if there were any takeaways or just aha moments for you all during that hour and a half segment. But boy, to me, it's just like, oh my goodness, it's moving fast.
Yeah,
we talk about it often.
I think that 18 months, maybe less.
Yeah,
honestly,
maybe less.
That number just feels like it gets shorter every day. This is the time to be learning it and applying it and figuring out how it's going to work for us as agencies, so that those benefits can flow on down to our clients.
Yes,
and then we'll be able to help them with things internally as well. But I would say if you haven't already been in it and playing with it the last 6 months or learning it the last 6 months, you're probably 2 years behind.
And we're go ahead, Bauer.
I was just going to say it was actually an aha moment when you were talking, Sam, about just the capacity of work that each individual can put out. Now that AI is in the picture, I think is where we all need to be extremely, just moving in that direction, essentially.
Something that we're very mindful of. I mean, we talked through Google Agent Space. Philip showed a few things. Chris Kizer has developed an incredible prompt manager tool that we use internally. And again, going back to, hey, Chris Sullivan and hey, Bauer, what can we do to help you all? It's just this constant knowledge sharing, vice versa. That opening of the kimono, man. So here we are. It's later in the day. I'm very, very lucky, and Chris and Bauer and I get to go to dinner tonight at the Summit Club, which is going to be fantastic. A little stormy evening. But for you all to take, Bauer is engaged. He gets married next July, which is a shout out to his lovely fiance.
I love you, Ellie.
Ellie.
We got another listener.
And Chris Sullivan has 3 kiddos and a wonderful wife that I'm very fortunate. I've gotten to know all of them over the years. And so for you all to take time out of your busy lives and days and to come over to the heart of the heartland and to be with us, we appreciate.
Yes.
We're happy to be here.
So many great takeaways.
That's the beauty of the Magnet Network. It's just we grow together.
That's right, man. We're just getting started. And so the nice thing is the next time we're going to podcast is at the Media Thesis Princeton Partners space up in New Jersey. I'm going to say in the next within the next 12 months. Deal?
Let's make it happen.
Sounds wonderful.
Brandon just said, sure. Look at
Brandon, you up? You coming? You coming to Big City?
In.
Okay, we're packing you up, baby. Claude, you can come too. It'll be a heck of a time.
Thank you.
Bauer, your first podcast appearance, you crushed it, buddy.
Thank you so much.
We actually do have a T-shirt for you that we will give you after we go.
Yes,
we jump off air here.
No way.
But it's a little takeaway, little souvenir back to the
bandit.
Northeast. That's exactly right. So to our viewers, I'm so glad you got the opportunity to meet Bauer. Chris Sullivan's right over here in the corner. He's amazing too. Media Thesis, check them out. They're amazing. And Bauer, thank you so much for your time.
I'm just so happy to be here.
Okay.
Thanks,
awesome,
man.
buddy. Off to dinner we go.
Cheers. Let's do it.
Okay. Cheers, guys. We'll see you next time. Thank you
Adios.
so much.
Peace.
And that's a wrap. We hope you found a spark of inspiration for your marketing strategy. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us at Littlefield Agency to keep the conversation going. Catch you next time.